Her husband was killed by a street shooter. Later, one of her sons was shot and killed. Relating this to the small audience brought her to tears. Again. The mother's pain she bears will never go away. When she was able to function again, she started a support group for mothers who have lost family members to street violence. There are currently about 75 members of Sisterhood. There could be 750,000 members because we shoot someone's son or daughter or husband or daddy over 100 times per day, every day. Some of the violence is due to random drive-by shootings. Some is done by warring gangs. Some is due to angry young people or disgruntled workers. All of it is due to something way beyond wrong. Another presenter spoke to the audience about his family of origin. 7 kids, mom, and an abusive stepfather who hit with chairs, a vacuum cleaner, whatever was handy. The presenter grew up thinking that's just the way things were, until the night his little sister went into the bathroom to avoid their stepfather's violence and quietly hung herself with the cord of a hairdryer. That's what random violence can do to people. The presenter now works with at-risk kids, people who grew up as he did, assuming that violence was just the way people deal with their anger. Most of it isn't done by an electrical cord. Most is by gun. As always, the grassroots efforts are driven by people who have lived the pain, and they're doing wonderful, critically needed work to help others, holding hands and hugging to soothe the sufferers and to counsel people away from violence before they commit it. And that's good. It's one piece of the puzzle, and it isn't enough. The cover picture for this horrific puzzle of over 30,000 gun killings per year shows the lack of proper education of our kids for a successful life, lack of employment opportunities where they're most needed, our refusal to enact meaningful national gun safety legislation, our cultural idealizing and reverence for tough macho guys. Think Charlton Heston's cold dead hands speech. Our slavish belief in the Second Amendment as a holy thing and meaning something other than what was intended by the founders. The political system that rewards the biggest donors instead of we the people. Our limp-wristed way of dealing with mental health. The ease with which we're distracted by the next bright, shiny object. You can likely add to this list. The point is that there are many contributing factors to our gun violence problem, and no one thing is going to cure our addiction to pointless death. Still, some things are obvious. Guns are the perfect tool to kill lots of people quickly. Knives kill, but imagine the killer at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School last year with knives instead of guns. He could have killed some kids, but there's no way he could have killed 17 of them with knives or an axe or any other hand weapon. Getting guns out of the hands of those who should never have one will be a major step towards solving our problem. Refusing to do that enables our truly angry, hate-filled people to carry out their horrible plans. 3 years ago, the FBI arrested 2 men who were planning a race war, expecting to bomb black churches and Jewish synagogues. Last week, they arrested a white nationalist who proclaimed, "I am dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on earth." And he was prepared to attack using his armory of assault weapons if President Trump is impeached. He planned to pump himself up with steroids and opioids so he'd be ready to unleash continuing carnage. The authorities managed to stop these 2 nutcases. But we'll never run out of angry men who want to do violence. The question we must answer is whether we're willing to do what is necessary to stop them before they start. If we continue to make it easy to assemble an arsenal of weapons of war, if we continue to make it easy for nearly anyone with a few bucks in their pocket to buy a handgun and some ammunition, we will continue to kill the likes of the little children at Sandy Hook Elementary School, high school kids at Columbine and Douglas, moviegoers in Aurora, Colorado, factory workers in Aurora, Illinois, people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, concert attendees in Las Vegas, and thousands on the streets. By February 17th, there were already 43 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. There were 5 last weekend alone. That can feel dreadful and concerning, but might not be motivating because most of it happens at a distance. That's just how it was for that mom until her husband and son were killed. It's up close and real personal for her now. That's the way it always is for the victims and their loved ones. We're perfectly positioned to get exactly the horrific results we're getting right now. The only way to get different, better results is to do something about it. I'm Jack Altshuler.